Hey, Nadia.
Hello.
Hello, listeners. In case you're wondering why there's so much dog barking in the background, I just want to say disclaimer there's going to be a dog barking in the background because our poor neighbor's dog has been stuck outside all day and it's just barking away.
Poor dog.
I know.
Well, if you hear construction on my end, somehow my street is just something's always wrong with it. And they're always drilling into the road. But I think we're okay for right now.
I wonder sometimes how much a toll this noise that we're surrounded by takes on our just general mental health. I just got back from 5 days, 4 nights in Las Vegas, and it was a lot of noise and a lot of stimulation, and just being around that is tiring.
Yeah. I feel like I mean, I kind of love that about living in the city is that there's always I mean, it's for me, I don't like quiet, you know? I always like something going on in the background. I'm always doing homework with music or watching TV at the same time as doing other things. I like multiple things happening at once. But I feel like it'd be such a different experience to live or go to school somewhere where it's like you have that peace and quiet at nighttime. And like I said, like all the construction that's been happening on my street, they purposely do it at night. I just like I don't understand why. And half the time I wake up 6 a.m. to a leaf blower, like I'm just like not quite sure why they have to do these things so late and so early, but like it's part of my routine now.
Yeah, well, I did actually notice we are maybe a mile and a half away from the freeway, and I never noticed the sounds of the freeway that are a mile and a half away. But when we came home from the Philippines after traveling in like quiet Philippines, obviously, okay, if anybody's been to the Philippines, you know that Manila is not quiet. But out in the provinces where we spent a lot of our time, it's quiet. And when we first got back home from the Philippines, I could totally hear the freeway from my bedroom door. So that's interesting. And so, like, I think we just kind of block out some of this
Yeah.
stimulation. I guess our brains, know how to do that, kind of like the way supposedly, if you really concentrated, you can see your nose at all times, but your brain determines that it's something to kind of ignore because who needs to be looking at their nose
Yeah.
the whole time?
Yeah.
But is it negative for our health? Speaking of which, what kind of, like, partying type of stimulation have you been getting in in Boston these days?
Well, recently I feel like I've been in such I was explaining this to you before. I just feel like I've been a little bit in hermit mode, and I don't know if it's a general sense of like I do not feel entirely inclined at all to go to any frat parties and that sort of situation, but I feel like I don't know. I've fortunately and unfortunately reached a point where it's like, okay, I know what to experience. I know what I'm going to experience a little bit, so there's not as much FOMO of like, I don't know, like, I've never been to this place before and all my friends are going and I want to go with them. Like, fortunately, I've like been able to go out to the places that people usually go. But I also, since I've started my job, like sometime and I work on some Fridays and Saturdays earlier in the morning, like I've been like, oh, I weirdly kind of want to go to bed, which is like never really a thought that I usually had, which for better or for worse, but like always been able to survive on little sleep. But recently I've been like, kinda probably better if I go to sleep not drunk and after a night of partying so I can get up for work the next day. I mean, my work right now is not super I don't really have to put that much thought into it, but it is important to be in the right headspace in the mornings.
You are dealing
But
with
yeah.
people, though. Working at a
Yeah.
cafe, you're dealing with people all day, so it's, like, almost like you get enough social, input.
Yeah, it's true. And it's like, especially for the cafe that I work at, it's a small space. I'm talking to customers, I'm talking to the people around me. There's always music going, there's always people in the cafe, like so much stimulation already that I don't need to go out. But I also am like struggling with like like, if I don't know, if I'm not taking advantage of, like, my opportunities to go out while I still have them. Not that they're gonna go away after I graduate, but more so, like, with the people that I'm with right now. Just all I mean, it's also been a kinda weird last 2 weeks with the weekends with the start of school. It's also been rushed, so not a lot of my friends have been going out since it's supposed to be dry week or dry weeks the last 2 weeks. But yeah, I've been struggling with just with that sort of situation, which is, like, interesting because I've never that's not really me. Like, I'm always the type of person that's like, "Oh, I'm so always very down to not necessarily just, like, drink, but, like, hang out with people even
Could it
if I've
have
had a
anything
long day."
does it have anything to do with your IUD, like hormones? Do you think it has anything to do with that?
I don't know because I it's will be hard to distinguish the difference because I got my IUD at the same time that I started school and at the same time that people, like, came in. I mean, I was, like, kind of feeling sick last weekend, so it's like all that situation. I mean, in reality, it's only been, like, 4 weeks of school, but, you know, still I'm, like, I don't know, slowly getting into it. Whereas before, like, freshman year, second year, like, kinda all or nothing, and it's usually all.
Yeah, this week I was, this weekend, the past 5 days was in Vegas, and I was all day, like, in the daytime at a conference, just meeting with people who care about the same things that I do, so I'm excitedly learning everything, meeting people. I presented a couple times, so then I'm, like, nervous, there's adrenaline rush, and then at night, we were in Vegas, there's so much good food to eat, and the whole team from work was there, or most of the team from work was there, so like, "Okay, let's go out, let's have dinner." And then over and over again, like 5 days in a row, and meanwhile, Eric, my husband, was inside the hotel room for most of the time, just catching up with, like, bills and his emails and things like that.
Mhm.
So by the end of the day, he was ready to go out. Like, on the last day, he's like, "Are we gonna go clubbing?" And, so if you think that your life has to end its social life at college, just know that you can be 50 and still potentially wanna go out, listen to music, and dance. And I was like, "I don't think I can go clubbing." And then we went out to dinner, this, like, delicious dinner at a place called Zuma in Cosmo. Fancy place, lots of people there, surrounded by all these people, like, on bachelorette parties and guys' night out and all this stuff. The music was so loud. The food was so flavorful. I was like, I leaned forward to him and I was like, "I don't know how long I can do this. Like, I might need to leave this dinner. It's just too much input." And
Mhm.
so I don't know. I think, like, there's probably a maximum that you like, of social interaction that one can take, and you probably get a lot from your cafe, and on top of that, you're just thinking about your future, and then on top of that, you've already done all this stuff anymore, so don't feel like you're gonna miss out.
Yeah. I mean, and that's not to say that I have done everything in Boston that there is to do, which is it's definitely not the case. But yeah, I've kind of been like leaning more towards staying in recently, which is like it's just really not like me. Not in a bad way. It's just like feel better. I mean, like I just want to go to bed. Like, and it's also not like I'm sitting out of bed just to go to bed. It's like I'm tired and I don't think I could make it out. So there's some of that too.
You should pick up a
Um,
book. I've been really enjoying reading fiction, and it's so like, it completely can take the place of I don't know.
that's how I feel about TV.
Oh, yeah.
Reading makes me so sleepy. Yeah.
You have to read
I
the right
mean,
book.
I know. That's always been on my to-do list, and I read one book, and then I didn't continue on with reading, but this year, but yeah. It's like the little things. I and you're right, I do have, like, a lot on my mind. It always feels like I get, like, one step behind every week. Like, I'll complete something, then it's like, now there's another thing that I need to do that I should done last week, but I was doing a different thing. But honestly, so far, I've been really enjoying having a structure. It is so much better for me personally to, like, be able to plan out all my days and have something to fill up all my days instead of this summer, like, or this last August when I, like, didn't have anything to do. And I like, hated that. It's just, like, so much better when I can plan out my whole day and have set times for things
I had this
and also
woman.
make time for other people, but yeah.
Yeah, I guess that's true. Some people do such a good job of just like leaving their time open so that when a friend needs them or there's an opportunity to be with somebody in a
Yeah.
meaningful way, they're available because they just have that time. Whereas for me, like I find like I end up not being able to go to a lot of things because I've set
Mhm.
myself up for lots of other commitments way ahead of time. Like
Right.
there's like I almost know what I'm doing every weekend in all of 2026. You know what I mean? Not like it's always going out, but like a class I'm
Mhm.
teaching or a conference I'm going to or that, that's when we're gonna go on
Right.
vacation. Like it's all planned out. And I don't know. I think that that can be frustrating for the people that, want to just hang out with a friend when I'm just like always so busy.
Yeah, yeah, it's true, but I feel like you do a good job of balancing it all. I feel like I have given myself the title of being good at being able to, like, make time to do other things that aren't school and work. Because I know sometimes it's just hard. You get, like, really sucked in to everything, and even if you do at the time, it's like, "Oh, I wanna think about this during my free time," you know? But trying to I mean, my exercise class is honestly kind of a good way to do that. Just, like, set aside time and then the time surrounding going to that class is spent not doing work, so then I get a break that way too, but yeah.
I don't remember if I've told you this before or even if I've mentioned it on this podcast, but I had this woman when you were a baby. I interacted with her a bit and I was always busy and I always liked to keep myself busy, kind of like you do. And I don't know why she thought this was appropriate because I barely know this person, but she was like, I think you probably just keep yourself busy all the time because you don't want like a quiet moment to actually think about what's really going on in your head. You're
That's
something like
crazy.
I'm saying that with, like, a somewhat meaner tone than she did, but
Right.
that's how it, like, came off. That's how, like, my brain filtered it into, and I was like, "Oh my god." Then,
Yeah.
I mean, she did go on to say something like, "Yeah, my mom was like that too. I totally get what you're doing." And I'm like,
Yeah.
"I'm
I
sorry
mean
that your childhood trauma is now being seen in the way that I'm acting. Maybe I just like to be busy." And the way that my coworker Keiko says it, she's like, "Oh, I'm" she's probably gonna not like that I said this out loud on podcast. She's like, "Oh, I'm sorry that I'm so busy doing all this stuff that you're not. Someone needs to do this stuff."
Yeah,
Keiko, if you're listening out there, sorry I called you out.
but I feel like that's a good thing to think. I mean, I right now, I'm not necessarily in this space of, like, if I don't do it, nobody else will. It's more so like, I like On honestly, these are most of the things I'm doing are pretty like, things for me. Like, it's doesn't I'm not, like, doing things for other people, so to speak. I mean, unless I mean, I'm always available to help, but, like, most of my responsibilities right now are or they feel pretty, like, me-centered, so I don't know. It feels like I'm just making time for myself and nobody else sometimes. But I think that I make time for other people, or at least try to, but I
Well,
feel like that's, like, a harsh thing to hear from somebody else, and but honestly, I think I've talked to this with some of my friends from home before, because I have a friend from home that is I always am like, "You're always so busy, and I feel like you could take a break sometimes," but she's like, "I just feel like I can't." 'Cause it's like when you don't have work or you don't have something to do, then you're like, "Must be doing something wrong." Like, feels, like, weird to have a break, and I guess that's just how some people's brains are wired, including mine, but and hers, but
yeah, I mean, there's a little bit of our culture and society telling us that our self-worth is based on how much we produce and do, and we have to kind of think, like, how much are we actually doing for ourselves because we love it versus feeling this pressure to be, I don't know, a producer, a person that does all the things.
yeah, it's hard also, like you were saying before, a lot of what I'm doing right now is, like, based off things I wanna do for med school and in the future, or a lot of the things I'm thinking about, and a lot like, the mental space is being taken up by things like that, which is feels like a big burden too, and feels like, I don't know. A lot of things need to be accomplished to get to the point that I want to be at, and it
I
means I
really
have
do
nothing for
think
it.
that I don't know if it makes it better or worse, but I think that it makes it better for you to think of it like not things that you need to do for med school, but things you need to do to make the world a better place or make
Right,
healthcare a better
right.
place. And
That's
then it's
where yeah.
yeah. Then it's not about, like, strategizing getting into school, but it's more like, "What do I need to do to be the best possible
Yeah.
doctor?"
I feel like that's hard for me sometimes because that is the way that I feel that I've looked at things is like my end goal I know is like my passion and I want that end goal of being able to be a medical provider and, helping patients and underrepresented communities, but then I forget to think about the steps that are in between and how to actually get to med school. I was able to talk to someone that I was connected by a professor with another student who's a year above me and who's kind of in the same space but is going to be applying to med school this upcoming cycle. And she was just explaining like the little things that are like that go into just the first step for Northeastern in submitting an application. And it's all things I knew, but like it's when someone says it to you and says it like it's a requirement and it has to be done by this certain time before you like apply, it's like, oh my goodness. I feel like I need to start now. It's just like, I don't know. I don't know.
I mean, you have been. You've been doing it. All the classes that you take, the experiences that you've had. The reason why I said that about, like, thinking about how not, like, getting into med school, but the future thing is, like, when you feel like it's, like, for this greater good I mean, in my opinion, when you feel like it's for a greater good, not just for, like, strategizing or completing a task or getting to a
Right.
place, but when it's for the greater good, then you can feel good about all the steps along the way. Like,
Yeah.
I happened like, my practice has been around for 13 years. It happens to have a team now, and we're doing okay. We're doing well, I would say. And I guess if I looked back, I could say, "All right, well, here's the strategy to get to, like, from point A to point B." Point B being
Mhm.
right now. But, like, really what I did was just keep on doing things that I enjoyed doing, even if it didn't result in, like, this great final accomplishment. At least I liked all the steps along the way, you know?
Right.
Like, sometimes I happen to really want to go into gymnastics gym and speak with the gymnasts about injury prevention, and eventually that
Mhm.
meant that I got patients and then the clinic grew and blah, blah, blah. But even if that didn't happen, I just kind of enjoyed going into a gymnastics gym and talking to the gymnasts and, like,
Yeah.
sharing with them, like, my thoughts or whatever because, like, what is the point of having all this knowledge without sharing it with other people? And so then
Right.
that little minor step felt good, even though it didn't necessarily get to the next major point, but then it
Mm.
did
Mhm.
eventually. So, like, I don't know.
Yeah.
You can just think about, like, what do I want to do right now that would feel really good that happens to, like, maybe help me get to a better place as a physician? Or what can I do right now to help people have a better experience with healthcare? That may or may not be like
Yeah.
a strategy to get into med school, but who cares? Because I enjoy doing it.
Yeah. Well, it's like a who cares then it's like med schools care, then I can't always do the things that I wanna do, and I have to do the things that are actual requirements, unfortunately. But I don't know. I feel like I'm going through that with co-op too. I'm like balancing what do I actually want to do and spend my time doing, put my energy into, and will it like do I care if it's going to correlate to med school application or should I be thinking ahead? I don't even know.
I
But
know
we
it's
shall
so easy
see.
for me to say from this point of view. Just keep doing the things that you love. It'll eventually get you the place that you want to be at. It's easy
Right.
to
I
say
can't
that from
say
my perspective.
yeah, like I can't even be like it's going to because I like, it couldn't. I mean, it actually could not help me, so but whatever, it's
It
fine.
won't be bad. It just might not help, you know?
Yeah.
I took a bunch of jobs that were, like, kinda pointless. I mean, pointless for what I currently do, but I'm glad I did because it gave me some experience, and it totally showed me what I didn't wanna do.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess we'll see what happens, but it's taking up so much headspace and feel like cannot escape it, so whatever.
Well, hopefully, now that rush is over at your school, people will be going out, and maybe you'll be in the mood to go out. Maybe you'll end up going out with your sister who apparently just joined a sorority.
Yeah. Yep, I guess we'll see what happens. Now I can't even process my train of thought anymore because I've already started thinking about all the things I need to
Okay,
do.
I think where we started was
It
sometimes it's
was
nice
my social life.
your social life, and yeah, sometimes it's just nice to, like, rest.
Yeah, but, gotta make time for having fun too. I'm not, like, that incredibly busy. I'm not, like which I think is the hardest part of, like, feeling like I can't do feeling like I don't have the energy to do things because I do have time for it. I'm just, like, exhausted mentally, so I'm like, I can't. So I just end up sitting and watching TV for hours, which is fine, I guess, while I have time, but I'll see.
Alright. Well, yeah, let me know what you end up doing this weekend. I wanna send me some
Oh,
pictures.
it's my gymnastics welcome back party, yay,
Oh, yeah.
at my house.
Oh, you're throwing it.
Yeah.
Cute. Oh, yeah, because 'cause you're the social
Or it's
chair.
like
That's
it's
ironic that the social chair is
yeah.
not feeling very social.
Yeah, I know. But yeah, that's happening, and it's Lucy's maybe Lucy will be doing it's her birthday weekend.
Alright, and plus I get to see you next weekend. Not this
Next
weekend,
week,
but next weekend.
actually.
Next week, yeah. Alright, well, have a good rest of your week.
You too. Bye-bye. Bye,
Bye,
everybody.
everybody.